Star Wars, Young Jedi Knights, Delusions of Grandeur, Chapter 4. The T-23 had never been so crowded, but Loey was proud of the way his skyhopper handled the load. While other engineers continued to repair the ancient pyramid, Jaina had fixed the damage the skyhopper had sustained at the Shadow Academy. Then augmented the T-23's engines and stabilizers. Eager to test the improved craft, Loey offered to take his friends out for a spin. Because Raynar was so downcast about the disappearance of both his father and his uncle, none of the Jedi trainees had the heart to exclude him. The young man had appeared in the hangar bay wearing a plain brown jumpsuit instead of his usual robes of garish purple, scarlet, yellow, and orange. Now as they soared above the canopy of saucy trees, the skyhopper's performance was flawless. Even with so many extra passengers, Loey roared a question back to his friends. "I think my foot's asleep," Jaina answered from the cargo well where she had volunteered to sit. "But other than that, I've probably got the most comfortable spot on board." "Hey, I'm fine," Jason said. He and Tunnel Ka were jammed together in a passenger seat. "I am experiencing no discomfort," Tunnel Ka reported. This is fun," Raynar said stoically. He was wedged sideways in the passenger foot space with his knees drawn up to his chest. One of his elbows rested on the few remaining centimeters of the passenger seat. "Indeed, Master Lobaka, I am also quite comfortable. Thank you for inquiring," EMTD answered last of all. Once he'd traveled far enough from the Jedi Academy's traffic of transport ships, construction crews, and military vessels, Loey decided there was little danger in the bit of creative flying. With Rabba gone, he'd been feeling fearless for days and needed a safe way to release his pent-up frustration. Wookiee whiffed a warning so everyone secured their crash webbing so he would test the T-23's maneuverability.
Well, what's the T?
He zigzagged across the treetops, eliciting squeals and laughter from his passengers, though he did detect one or two of them applying their Jedi relaxation techniques. He brought the T-23 about in a tight curve above the trees, spiraling in until everybody on board was thoroughly dizzy. Then, amidst giggles and applause, he took the skyhopper into a steep climb. After pausing in midair, he pulled the craft into a steep dive toward the Masashi trees. Loey pulled up just before crashing, then leveled out to skim across the treetops. Jason whooped and Jaina shrieked with a thrill. Raynar spoke in a rather timid voice. "I've never done that before. It was fun." "This is a fact," Tunnel Ka said. "Quite exhilarating, I say," EMTD put in. "So long to be as the appropriate safety factors are applied." "We better be getting back," Jaina yelled from the cargo well. "Tione asked us to help her out with lessons this morning." "Yeah, it wouldn't be fair to leave her alone with all the new trainees since Uncle Luke is off on another adventure," Jason said. "Besides, I want to check on Nikta. I'm not sure how much care a baby Gort needs." Loey turned the skyhopper back toward the great temple, feeling some of his tension relieved at last. The Jedi instructor, Tione, asked all the students to gather at the practice courtyard just outside the temple. With Master Skywalker off on another mission for the New Republic, she had taken over the lessons. Above, workers continued to repair the roof platform on the damaged pyramid. Joined by his friends, Loey climbed up one of the courtyard's retaining walls. Although the afternoon was warm and humid, a light breeze rustled the jungle leaves, and Loey could almost imagine he was alone in the treetops, or perhaps with Rabba, listening to the tales of heroes who fought to defend what they believed in. Tione sang an ancient ballad, one of her favorite methods of teaching, about young Gav and Jori Dragoon, a Force-talented brother and sister who'd given up on their Jedi training. They tried to make their fortune by exploring the galaxy, but instead stumbled upon the ancient Sith Empire and sparked a war that nearly toppled the old Republic. Loey closed his eyes and let the story grow like a secret garden around him. Tendrils of tale and melody twined together in his mind, blooming with ancient splendor. He wondered if Rabba would enjoy the tale too. He might tell her, if he ever saw her again. Then all too soon the music ended. A murmur of appreciation rippled through the crowd of Jedi trainees and New Republic guards who stopped to listen. Reluctantly, Loey opened his eyes and looked up at the Jedi teacher and historian. Gav and Jori had meant to discover many things. but not what they actually found, Tione said in her melodious voice. Remember that what you look for and what you may find may be two different things. Her fine silvery hair floated on the breeze, and her enormous mother-of-pearl eyes seemed to look directly at Loie. As your Jedi training progresses, many causes will call for you to use your powers on their behalf. But how can you know if the cause is one you should champion? You must learn to listen to the Force, and the Force will guide you. Hate and distrust, domination, revenge, even glory, these are not the things a Jedi fights for. A Jedi defends justice, protects the weak from tyranny, and rescues those in harm's way, but always with the guidance of the Force. If you do not believe this in your heart, you are not ready to become a full Jedi. Tione's delicate face dimpled into a smile. But do not despair, there is time to learn, and that is why we are all here, to learn together. The Jedi instructor then dismissed them all to continue their independent lessons. Jaina's mind was completely exhausted after hours of practice sessions with various Jedi techniques. As always, she had made sure the subtle exercises strained her abilities to the limits. That is the best way to learn and grow in the Force. Tenel Ka rolled both shoulders to stretch the kinks out of her muscles. Perspiration from the late afternoon heat glistened on her face and neck. Very satisfying effort, she said. I believe I could use a swim in the river. Hey, great idea, Jason said. Raynor hesitated, then agreed. Jaina nodded. The suggestion brought back memories of the last time she and Zeke had gone to the wide, greenish-brown river that ran through the jungles. Sure, it'd be refreshing. At the river's edge, Jaina, Raynor all stripped down to their minimal exercise gear, while Tenel Ka peeled off her boots and her lizard-hide armor. Loie unfastened the siren fiber belt from his waist, and the EMTD still attached, and set it aside. The little droid gave what sounded like an aggrieved sigh. So I'm simply to be left behind, unwanted, unneeded? We could try to float you on the water, EMTD, Jason said with a roguish smile. Oh no, Master Jason, said the little translator droid. I'm certain I could sink and be lost forever. Jaina gave the droid an apologetic glance. If you want, I could figure a way to waterproof you, a few gaskets, some aqua sealant. I should like that very much, Mistress Jaina, EMTD said. It's a wonder I haven't thought of it before. Tenel Ka, already poised on a rock, dove into the deep water. Then Jason followed immediately after her. Raynor waded up through the shallows, while Loie climbed a boulder and leapt into the water with a Wookiee bellow. Taking up the challenge, Jaina plunged in after him. Soon all of them were splashing and enjoying themselves. Jaina, Loie, and Tenel Ka took turns diving to the bottom of the river to bring back interesting water creatures for Jason to examine. Even Raynor seemed to release his worries. After the boy had been humiliated in the river during the battle of the Shadow Academy, Tione had taken upon herself to teach him how to swim better. Now he enjoyed spending time in the river. While the Wookiee was in one of his dives, Jaina surfaced and heard the sound of ship's engines. Looking toward the landing field, she saw a small two-passenger star skimmer in front of the temple and head straight for the river. Jaina recognized the rising star, Rabba's ship. Jaina gave a tentative wave as the skimmer sped toward them, no more than 2 meters above the water's surface. Loie burst up from the river bottom holding a six-clawed crustacean. With speed and precision that Jaina had to admire, the rising spar spun once, zipped up the riverbank, and came to a neat landing just clear of the mud. Jaina stifled a giggle at her friend's roar of surprise and recognition. Before Loie could recover from his shock and make his way to shore, the chocolate-furred Wookiee woman climbed out of her skimmer. Shedding a necessary piece of equipment with each running stride, she headed directly for Loie. Oh, do be careful, EMTD explained as Rabba's foot nearly missed him on her way into the river. The two rookies swam toward each other, bellowing and growling and barking at each other like a pair of neck battle dogs. Jaina chuckled as she picked out a few of the guttural faces like, I thought I'd never see you again. I told you I'd find you, but most of all, the interchange was too fast for her to follow. Watching the two splash and frolic in the water, she felt a pang. Jaina couldn't help but wish that Zeke were there, too. She had so much to say to the young man who kept trying to find a way to erase his dark past. She realized that Rob and Loie must also have a lot of things that they wanted to say to each other. Chiding herself, she said, Jason, Raynor, Tenel Ka, I think we need to get back to the Great Temple now. Loie can come back whenever he's ready. Tenel Ka, treading water beside Jason, caught on quickly. This is a fact, she said. Jason shrugged, okay. He swam with a warrior girl back to shore. Raynor gave Jaina a questioning look, but he did not argue. Turning back toward the river, Janie yelled, "Hey, Loey, will you be needing EMTD for anything?" He rumbled the negative and cocked his head as if to inquire why 2 Wookiees would need a translating droid. "Okay, I'll take him to my room, give him a tune-up, and maybe figure out how to waterproof him." But the 2 Wookiees didn't hear. Loey and Robbo were already splashing together towards the far side of the river. For the next 2 days, the 2 Wookiees were completely absorbed in each other as they went for climbs in the jungle and flew around the small moon and the rising star, or Loey's T-23. Jaina found it sweet to see Loey so smitten, but disturbing as well. Aside from perfunctory greetings, Robbo made no effort whatsoever to converse with anyone but Loey and 1 or 2 alien Jedi trainees. She seemed to find humans not worth the bother. Jaina knew, of course, that Robbo was angry at Tycho Thul for insulting Nola Tarkona and the Adversity Alliance before she left Kuar. But Jaina had hoped the chocolate-furred Wookiee would want to get better acquainted with Loey's friends. That did not prove to be the case. And then it came as a greater shock then when Loey announced that he was leaving the Jedi Academy, at least for a while. Robbo intended to return to Kashyyyk for a reunion with her best friend Cere and to announce to her family that she was still alive. She had invited Loey to come along so that he could visit his own family and that she could spend more time talking with him about the Diversity Alliance on the way back there and back. He would be gone with Robbo for no more than a few weeks. Loey assured them all. Then, without a ceremony, he packed up a small satchel of belongings and necessities for the trip and clipped his lightsaber to the glossy woven belt. Since he would have no need for a translator among Wookiees, he asked Jaina to take care of EMTD for him while he was gone. "Do be careful, Master Labaka," EMTD called forlornly from Jaina's hand. "I shall await your return with great anticipation." Loey made his goodbyes and climbed into the rising star. Jason, Jaina, Raynor, and Tenel Ka stood back, and Robbo's little skimmer took off. Tucking the translating droid under one arm, Jaina watched the ship dawdle into the distance and vanish into the cloud-streaked skies. Loey was gone.